Welcome to Still Plays Galaxy of Heroes. This is the new account week by week. We are on week 4. Technically, week 4 ended on Thursday. We're a couple days behind with the holidays. These are the topics for this week. We've got a format kind of figured out now. We're going over the milestones on the account, the lessons we learned over the past week, what the progress has been, what I'm currently farming in the stores, and then the long-term plan. And I'm tweaking the long-term plan since I previously talked about it. So last week we started talking about the milestones on the account over the past 3 weeks. This is what we accomplished. We got to level 57 by the end of week 3. We had 7-star characters, mod battles unlocked. We unlocked the tier 3 mods, or the 5-dot mods, the tier 3 challenge. On the mod challenges, we got our first legendary, and we put on gear 7 onto some characters. And here is what we accomplished on week 4. We got from level 57 to level 63. We now have multiple 7-star characters, although you'll see in a moment when we go over the progress, I haven't promoted them to their 7th star. Ships have been unlocked. We're finishing top 50 in the fleet arena right now, and we've accomplished more mod challenges. We now have defense and crit damages mods tier 3 completed, and we have several gear 8 characters now. Here are the lessons I want to emphasize for this week. You need to be treating mods like late game players, basically on day 1 or as soon as you can. Week 3 we talked about how you can be getting the 5-dot mods by then, and you shouldn't be putting resources into the lower dot mods. But on top of that, you need to be farming for speed and not wasting resources on mods that don't have speed. Basically from the beginning, because of how resource scarce you are, you can't afford to be leveling up bad mods. So it's not something that you grow out of. You need to be playing like late game players immediately, or you're going to run out of resources. So let me show you what this looks like. So here's a squad arena. Take a look at this team here. These are 4 to 1-dot mods, and they're maxed out to level 15. It takes so many resources to max out a mod. Even for a 5-dot mod, going from level 12, for a gray mod where you've procced your 4 secondaries, going from 12 to 15 is over 60,000 credits. You're going to very quickly run out of credits leveling up bad mods. We'll take a look at a couple more of these, and you can just kind of see these mods that don't need to be maxed out. They're not good enough to be worth those resources. So on top of that, the resource scarcity is now unavoidable once you're in the level 60s. Any of the credits that you've been able to accumulate during the first 60 levels of the game, you're going to very quickly start going through them. You need to start being very protective of any resources that you have. And it's one of the things that I'm shifting my focus on, is because of hyperdrive players in squad arena and in fleet arena, I don't think it makes a lot of sense to now be overdeveloping my squad arena team really any further, because I need to be looking at where my resources are going to give me a benefit. And now I talked a little bit last week of don't overdevelop your squad arena roster, but I think I was talking more in terms of Galactic War at that time. You don't want to get too far ahead. But when I look at my squad arena, if we take a look at my squad arena, refresh this a couple times, you basically see that the hyperdrive bundle, these level 85 players with high gear, they've basically bled into the top 300, and there's an extremely minimal benefit towards putting any more resources there and for me to climb any higher as a free-to-play player on this account. So what that means is the arenas are a pretty poor place for me to looking at the return on investment that I'm going to get for my resources. I'm not going to be able to do any better than I am doing, so there's no sense for me putting in more ability materials, more credits towards leveling, and gear for certain characters. I talk about this on my main account all the time. I don't have a Relic Arc Trooper because Ahsoka is helping me climb into the top 100 as is, so And Arc Trooper isn't going to help me get into the top 50, so what's the point? Like, there's some points for territory battles, but other than that, there's not a huge benefit towards using resources in that way. And that's what I'm looking at on this new account is, does it make any sense for me to put more resources into my squad arena team? No. Same deal with the fleet arena. I can skip around here and get into like the top 30, top 20 if I'm careful and I climb using specific teams. Like here's another guy in the 30s that I can use to climb. But there's already hyperdrive bundle players in the fleet arena. It's not as good of a place as I was hoping for resources because of the hyperdrive bundle, but I think I'm in a particularly bad shard because of when I started the account. I think there was a lot of players who started new accounts during Thanksgiving because of the shard economy changes and because of the anniversary rewards. If I'm not going to be investing in the arenas, or at least over-investing in the arenas, that raises the question of where I'm going to put my resources. Now what I think the best return on investment is going to be at this point in the game is prepping for legendary characters. As soon as I hit level up 85, I want to unlock every single legendary I can at 5 stars. I want to be prepping for every single event that I can, so that means at level 75 I'm going to be able to play assault battles. I want to be able to beat every assault battle, at least at tier 1, and hopefully at tier 2 as soon as I hit level 75. And that's because of just all those resources. In my main account when I was playing, there was months where I was not able to participate in certain assault battles. So that is one of my biggest priorities to avoid immediately. And then I also want to be getting deeper for Galactic War and the future game, like Grand Arena, and making sure my roster is as flexible as possible and I can shift as quickly as I need and participate in raids and help out my guild and be able to help out in territory battles wherever I can. The minimum amount of teams you need to beat every single assault battle is 4 teams. You need a rebel team, which also qualifies Phoenix. Phoenix can also take care of another assault battle. You need Imperial Troopers can take care of the Bounty Hunter Rebel Roundup one, as well as the Forest Moon Empire one. And then that just means you need 2 other teams, so Jedi and then First Order will help take care of not only the last 2 assault battles, but also they'll take care of some legendary progress. So those are the first 4 teams that I want to be making sure are at a very usable level. And then on top of that, these are the beginnings of the squads that I'm working on. I have the squad arena team that I'm currently running that's going to eventually shift into this Vader and Troopers and Empire team as soon as Piet gets unlocked, who I'm farming. I have the Separatist team that's really my fleet arena team. Phoenix, because you have to. The beginnings of the Jedi team. Beginnings of a CLS team. Bounty Hunters, First Order, Night Sisters, and Ewoks. This is a package where I want to be getting Wicket Shards and Telzing Shards as soon as possible because I want those resources, I want those credits. They give like 150 credits, I think, upon completion, but also the sooner you complete those, the sooner you're going to be getting Zetas from those events, and you should be doing that as soon as possible. That's one of the lowest viable teams I'm going to be working on, videos that I'm going to be working on, is you need 4 stars to participate. I want to figure out what that lowest threshold is for beating that event with Night Sisters and Ewoks. And then Beskar Mando, I've got Queel and IG-11 unlocked. We're going to be working on them, but really we need Fleet Arena to generate us a lot more crystals to be farming up these newer characters. And then clones. Clones, I think, are a team that should be worked on early. It's one of the things I want to test out because clones are very easy gear except for 5s. And Arc Trooper is going to help them out. I am facing clones right now in Galactic War, and it might actually cause my first incompletion in Galactic War. So we'll see in the week 5 video next week if I'm able to beat that team or not with what I've got going. I think with cooldowns it's not going to happen. So all of these characters, I'm working on getting them up to 4 stars and then to 5 stars and leveling up to around like the 40-50 range to conserve resources, but also to give me that maximal flexibility moving forward. And then as events are unlocked, we'll kind of see what those minimum thresholds I'm going to need to get these teams at. That's the general overview of the plan moving forward. We're going to wrap up with a quick look at the progress on the account and what I'm farming in the stores. So what we're working on here, these are the favorited characters. We're going to wrap up Dooku because he's close. Sunfac is for ships. Bastila, that's going to be our Jedi leader, obviously. But we're working here. Piet is part of the original focus of starting this new account, which was testing out the Vader rework. And because Piet was a early accessible character, we're going to see his viability along with Vader and the rest of the troopers. Then we got Beskar Mando requirements with Cara Gun Mando. We should be adding Cara Dune here soon. But also I'm working on Mon Mothma and 3 Baka for Grand Arena early, because characters who are sharing stats are one of the big themes of the past year or two of Galaxy of Heroes, and they are so powerful. And because these characters are available relatively early, like by level 65, those are characters that we're going to be farming up immediately. They're going to help us counteract characters like Geos when we hit Grand Arena. On top of that, we've got the trooper team that we have been working on in Squad Arena, but we're going to kind of ease up on that and bring up our Geos and bring up our Phoenix for legendary characters, and then we're going to be unlocking the other legendary characters. We'll see how many we can do by next week. Vader has been slow, but now that we've got Fleet Arena, hopefully we'll get him started up. But first, we're working on those Geo ships. And then the rest of the farming on the other squads is happening slowly. Let me show you what we're doing in each of the stores. So the Cantina store, we wrapped up a while ago Stormtrooper over the past week, I believe, but we haven't starred him up because we can't afford 1 million credits right now. So Chopper, we're going to bring to 5 stars, and then we're probably going to shift over to Daka, because I want a Night Sister team early. Night Sisters are powerful in the early game to the late game. In my main account, I basically didn't have a Night Sister team until it was clear they were one of the go-to teams for the Heroic Sith raid. They're a team I want to have early for Grand Arena and other uses. In the guild store, we're kind of throwing resources around. Really, we're giving resources to Sunfac whenever he appears. As soon as we hit the guild reset, we're going to buy these. But I've also been throwing resources around at Colonel Stark slowly when I have some extra resources. But also Dengar and Logray. They're slower farms. They've actually been faster than Sunfac. But because of how important Logray and Dengar are, I think you should be working on unlocking them right away. Squad Arena store, we're working on Kanan right now. We finally got done with our capital ship pilot and Grand Moff Tarkin. So now we're shifting those resources over to Kanan, and then we're going to get Asajj and Newt. And then also IG-88, we want him for his ship. Galactic War Store, we're just doing the Geo ships right now. We saved for basically a week a bunch of Galactic War Store currency, so we're just throwing everything we can at those ships. And on occasion I'm throwing a little bit at Zeb, but because of credits right now, I'm not going to be giving him his next star promotion. And after Zeb, we're going to shift to Cad Bane and possibly Initiates or Phasma for legendary reasons. The Night Sister is for the Telzing shards. But that's where we're kind of spreading our resources around, is getting ready for those legendary unlocks. Fleet Store, it's basically everything into Geo ships. We want those farmed up as quickly as possible. If Sunfac appears in the store, we'll grab Sunfac. And then Grievous, if I feel like I have extra resources, I think it's worth starting on Grievous right away, or at least as soon as makes sense, as soon as maybe you're stable in the squad arena, because that's a long farm. He doesn't appear very often, and making sure you have some shards on hand to take advantage of when he appears is worth doing. I'm holding off right now because I need stronger geoships faster. That's where we're going to call it for this week. Next week we're looking at guild events are going to be unlocked basically tomorrow or the next day, and then we're working towards getting ready for those assault battle unlocks at level 75, and then just developing the middle portion of the roster up. I'll show you that progress next week. Be safe out there, everyone, and as always, be excellent to each other. This has been Still Plays Galaxy of Heroes.